Hello and welcome back to another episode of the mods and modifications that we're doing to the Land Cruiser Colorado. Shut up, phone. Now we're running the rock lights today. We're going to try and get those all set up. First protocol is going to be ripping this dash apart here, lovely painted. We're going to get this bottom section off here, get this off, and we're going to run the power from the 12-volt socket behind there. It's got an inline fuse and everything on here, so we're going to get in. There's your fuse. We're going to get in behind there, connect power up and run the switch and everything to start with, and then we'll figure out how to get the actual rock lights from each wheel arch in each corner back to the center of the car, and that got to be a headache. Start with the obvious, remove all the trim that you can. Now my one is broke at the top here, so there's clips here at the top. And those were broke before I even pulled it out the first time, because there was another microphone like this that came up and out for this stereo, all fitted before I had the vehicle. So unfortunately in behind here I just need to get a couple of clips, but it's one of those things that you just don't do. So we're going to get this, pop this off, pop the lower section off. It's very simple. All you need to do is on your transfer case gear lever, undo the actual gear knob itself. So we get that off. Set that somewhere safe. The black section here just pops. They're all just pop clips, so just be careful as you pull them up. And then underneath where you've got your heated seats, you just need to undo the actual power plug for each one of them. And once you've got them undone, you can just pull it off. And there is a way to get it off, which I'll show you in a second. These are very fiddly to get out. I recommend you get the furthest one first. Oh, very awkward, but they do come out. Now when you lift this up, all you have to do is make sure you got your handbrake on, and just be safe and put your foot on the foot brake. Put the gear lever into neutral so that the gear lever's in the middle. And that way you can turn the actual plastic trim, and you turn it and lift it straight off the top. So you go from that position, turn it and lift it over the top of the gear lever, nice and simple. It's a little bit annoying, but it is very simple. Pop it back into park, and then we can start pulling off the top section here. Same thing, there are lots of little pop clips that need to come off, and just be careful as you're getting them off. You do probably need a trim removal tool for this, but since it's been off a few times already, all of these are really worn, so very easy to come out. And there we are, that is it removed. You just need to get in and undo all the little clips that hold the clock, your hazard lights and all that sort of stuff. Just undo all of the power to them. Remember which one goes where, but I'm pretty sure they are all different sized, so it's pretty easy to put that together. So I have an aftermarket switch, which you guys won't have. This switch here runs my light bars on the front. So all I've done is popped out one of the blanks, drilled a circular hole, and then added a switch in. And then the easiest way that I found, I have got a connection further down in the dash But the easiest way I find to take this apart is to just pull these clips off. So they're all pretty easy to come off, and as long as you remember which way round they go, which was yellow, red, black, your black goes on to the gold spade. So as long as you remember which way round they go, it's pretty easy. Just pull that out, pull that cable out, and then your blank, you can just put your switch back into your blank and the switch back into the dash so you don't lose it. And then the wire can just be pulled out then, and it's nice and simple. So that was the reason I set it up that way, and we're going to do something similar with the other side. Again, very fiddly, but all you have to do is undo all of these clips all the way down, the whole power to different things, and then the whole dash section, the whole center console section just pulls out. And it makes it nice and easy to get to any of this wiring that you need to do, or to do a stereo install or anything like that. It's all very simple. So now we'll crack on with this install. In this kit, it's not a very expensive kit, it's just a, well, I think I got this from Amazon, so it's just a pretty standard RGB kit sort of thing. It has two power cables, obviously a power and an earth, very simple. The power cable is fused, which is nice, and in there we have, let's just double check. Ooh, come on. Just a little 7.5 amp fuse, so it might be worth putting a bigger one in there, but if that's what comes, then we know that if we need to change it, we can change it in the future. So all we're going to do is take power from the 12 volt Siglighter port. We're going to connect power to power, earth to earth, and we're just going to earth it through there so that we've got what is a switched live for these, so they won't run when the car's turned off. But that's not really an issue because we're only going to need it for when we're actually on the lanes. And these are obviously a bit of a gimmick. They're a bit of a showy offy sort of thing. They're not needed, so we don't want them running the battery down or anything silly. They do also come with instructions here on this here box. So red your positive, black is your earth, and then it does say blue to brake light. So this blue wire here, I'm going to have to run all the way to the back of the car to connect to the brake light. Now my only assumption is that these will glow red when I press the brake pedal, which is pretty cool, but I don't know if we're going to do that straight away, so we'll see. If that is the case, I might run a temporary wire outside the car and see if that is the case, and if it is, then I might run one permanently, see if I like it or not. But for now, you only actually need these two connected. So we're going to get these connected to the back of the 12 volt, and then we've got this box to house somewhere in the dash. We've got another wire that comes off that is the switch. The switch here isn't, I don't particularly like it. It's a very aftermarket looking switch. I don't particularly like it. And inside it just has 3 wires. So it has a red, a black and the blue. Now I might open this box up and just see what's inside. Because if it is simply a switch and there's no circuitry going on in there, I might change this switch for something else that I can hide. But for now, I will run this and I'll just put it somewhere where it's out the way, because I don't particularly like the look of this. So we're just going to hide it somewhere, put a double-sided sticky tape or something on the back, or even Velcro or something. I might even just hot glue it somewhere. But for now, we're going to use this switch, but I might change that at a later date because it's just ugly. We'll get those routed, and then we'll leave this whole bundle for the cables somewhere in the middle of the car. So you imagine low down, but in the middle of the car there, where we can probably on the gearbox tunnel somewhere, where we can maybe run wires from the wheel arch underneath the car and up into the gearbox tunnel, and connect them inside the cab. That might be the route that I take. The ones from the rear are easy because you go straight into the rear arch and you're then in the cab, so it's nice and simple. But the ones in the front, obviously you're inside engine bay before you're inside the cab. So getting the ones from the back to the front, nice and easy. It's just a case of length and routing it. But getting the ones from the front in, we've actually got to go through the firewall or into the gearbox tunnel. So we'll see how we go when it comes to routing that. So far what we've done is we've just connected 2 wires here onto the actual power. So one to the power, one to the earth, and I just extended these out just to make actually installing it easier, so that it's, you know, being installed out here rather than under the dash and pain in the arse. So all the really awkward stuff now is done, and it's the really awkward stuff is 2 wires. So I've got these 2 spade connectors. I've got a little kit that has all the little connectors in. So we've done the male ones on that side, and then on the actual light bar kit, on the actual rock light kit, we've put the female side, so that now I can just connect them whenever I want, and if I do need to take them off in the future, I can just disconnect them, tape those off, or even just cut the wires off and retape it, and it'll be absolutely fine. So it's sort of future proofing, and these sort of things are just a good way to save yourself some time in the future. It might be that you change your mind for where you wanted to route them or something, and you need to unplug these, for some reason that, you know, this wire is 6 inches short, for example. You can just put another little connector on another bit of wire and just connect them further down, or it might be too long and you can just trim it and reconnect it, and it just makes your life a little bit easier going that extra step. So I recommend you do it. It's not necessary, but it does make your life easier for the install. So for testing purposes, I've connected these up here, and we've connected one of the rock lights here. The kit comes with a little remote. It's a bit unsightly, but this will just live in the little ashtray thing in there. So this can be used whenever is needed. So now, because we're on a switched live, I can turn the car on, the ignition on, and then we just have this little switch here. Turn that on, and we do have blinking lights. So set that down there, somewhere where you might be able to pick up the colour changing. And then you've got this little remote here that will just change what the actual light is doing. So we've got obviously green and blue, yellow, white, purple, basically full RGB settings, and then you can have it on changing by itself. You can have it on faster, you can have it on where it's just sort of glowing through the different changes, or you can just have it on a solid colour and pick your colour. But now we know that this bit of wiring here is working, and that means that we can box everything off and get everything in here put away, and then we can start with wiring and routing everything out of the arches, because that is going to be an absolute nightmare. I really don't want to have to come through a grommet. I'm going to attempt to see if I can get it from the wheel arch underneath along the chassis and up into the gearbox tunnel, but it just depends how much stuff's going to be in the way and how the wiring is going to sit, because if it's going to sit and get in the way of things like tree branches, or, you know, obviously where the wheel flexes into the arch and stuff, if it's going to get in the way of any of that, then we're just going to go straight into the engine bay, and then down through a grommet into the firewall, because it'll just be the most sensible solution. It won't be the easiest, but it'll be the most sensible. So I'll let you know which one we decide. Now that we've tested it and everything works, we've got plenty of space to route everything here. So I've tucked all the excess cable up. There's loads of space back here. If you're ever doing anything, this is brilliant. So there's loads of space back there. Tucked it all up. Run the power cable that I need to have my connectors to all the way down here. Tucked the box in. I just wedged it in there in the corner, and they've come out here underneath. And then I've got this one sat slap bang in the middle of the car, ready to connect my multi-connector to. So that one there goes into like 8 different connections. So I can connect that to that one and have my actual wiring of connections somewhere here, hopefully underneath this console if everything reaches. If not, I might put them under the back seat if that's more central once we actually get wiring going. we've got the center console here and everything rebuilt back up. It's nice and easy, very simple to get done. Quick pit stop. Now we're looking at routing the lights here. Cables. Shut up, car. We're looking at routing the cables here. I'm gonna go. There is a grommet just here underneath. Where are we? So somewhere, just there, there is a grommet, and I'm thinking it'll be pretty easy. We'll go from there. You'll have one light here shining this way, one light here somewhere shining this way, and the one that's here will have the wire come up and over down the back here, and I'll just cable tie it to the pre-existing wires so it stays out of the way. And then the next one will go just straight down, and I'll cable tie it to I think these are brake lines, but yeah, oh no, they're the rear heater lines, so they're definitely fine. So I can go straight down here and cable tie the wire to here and keep it out of the way of the wheel, and then run it along the chassis leg to that grommet, and that should be pretty simple. And then I can get into the grommet and into the cab. It's going to be somewhere here, so it's going to be a case of take this trim off, pop the carpet up, look for that grommet, poke it out, and then feed my wires, and it should be pretty easy for the front anyway. The back, so I have a plan. I'll show you the plan. Now my rear arches are knackered, so we've temporarily fixed these, but this is just a little rubber matting for now. So what we're going to do is in here, probably have one here and one over in that corner there. The one in this corner, we're just going to drill a hole into the wing, go straight into the cab, run it on the inside, and what we'll do is we'll rust treat the hole and then silicone it all together so we won't get any water in the cab. This one here, same thing, drill a hole, feed the wire through, and the wires are going to come out here in behind this piece of plastic. It's taking a turn for the worst here, the weather. It's not going well. In fact, I'm pretty sure you're all steamed up. Is that better? Right, so we've got all the corners done now. They're all routed into the cab. The fronts are routed really nicely. The rears aren't quite as tidy, but they are routed, so they are what they are. I've had to drill through the internal plastics like the trim, which I'm a bit annoyed about, but it is what it is. When the rain started hammering it down, it did what it could. And we might just reassess that at a later date, but we've drilled through the arch. I'm going to rust treat that and then silicone the hole shut so that there's obviously no rust, no water ingress. I will look for proper rubber grommets in the future, but for now that will do the job. Got 1, 2, 3, 4 for that side, 1, 2, 3, 4 for this side, and then the 8-piece connector. So we're going to get all of this tucked away somewhere underneath here, because this is just dead space. The actual cup holder fridge mount, well I've turned mine into a fridge one, but the fridge died, so I've got to make a new one. But by the by, new project. This one, it all mounts on these high up plates, so this bit at the bottom is just dead space. So I'm going to get that all mounted down there, and hopefully should be nice and tidy and all out of the way, but I'll bring you back when it's ready to bolt the rest of the interior together. So that's them routed. We've got most of it all tucked in down the side here. These ones all tucked under the console, and then they run down underneath the driver's seat, along that trim down the edge there into the back of the car for the back ones, and they go underneath the carpet and out of the grommet that's down in this corner to get to the front ones, and it's the same on that side and same on that side, just obviously the opposite. So there we are, it's all back together. We're gonna just gonna glue this or some Velcro or something, just put that up there, so once you're actually in the seat and you won't see it, nice and out of the way, because it is an ugly switch. So we get ignition on, switch on, and then obviously it's daylight at the minute, but we got 2 lights under there, 2 under there, 2 under here, and the 2 under here. like I say, nice and neatly run through the front. This is the wire from the back. It actually comes down the whole door card, sort of foot trim down here. This is the annoying little hole I had to make. You can see there as it goes through the actual wing arch, sorry, and it had to come out through the plastic because the plastic actually touches right up against the metal arch, so there was no avoiding drilling through it without taking it off, which involved taking the entire boot build out, which I didn't want to do, so I didn't. But that is it, all installed, and as soon as I turn the ignition off, they're off because they're on switch live, so I don't even need to worry about making sure I turn the switch off, which is very handy. We'll get some pictures at night time at the end. Stay tuned for the next time. Thanks for watching.